All right. What's up, everybody? I know it's been a long time since RFIR has been live, but we are bringing back slowly our show. But tonight we figured we'd do something a little bit different than what we normally do as far as bringing news to you guys. For a lot of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Kenneth Rosa is my co-host tonight. He's agreed to join me for this broadcast this evening. But what we're going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is something that is so heart-wrenching that it's absolutely sickening. And the only ones to really blame, in my opinion, is the court system. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, what we're going to be talking about tonight is about the father that was slain in Texas back on November 5th. There's a lot of really big inconsistencies with this. And I know, Kenneth, you're actually going to have guests on your show this upcoming Wednesday, aren't you not?
Yeah. There's some members of the family and some other things that are going to come on and talk about their tragic loss that they've suffered that, because of these I blame the family courts. Simply because when you go to court and you get a court order and they won't enforce the parental time, you can call the police and they always tell you, "Oh man, that's a civil matter."
Yep.
And then if you finally do get them to take a complaint and file a police report, then it goes over to the prosecutor. The prosecutor doesn't want to be seen as anti-female, so they won't file on it. I had 4 in 1 month in a December one time. The holidays and things that fell in the month of December ended up with 4 police reports for parental interference in Missouri, which is a Class D felony as well, due to the number of them. And he dismissed all of them, said that it wasn't a pattern of behavior enough to charge her, to say that she didn't know what she was doing to, stop interfering with the custody. But fast forward a few months and she just stopped letting me see him altogether. And so I stopped paying child support. They felony prosecuted me for failure to pay child support while not felony prosecuting her for parental interference. So obviously, I wasn't going to take a felony and let the family courts make me into a felon. So after I'd made my point for about a year, I paid it all off at one time and didn't take the felony because I don't want to be a convicted felon over failure to enforce the laws equally or the color of law. But I totally understand this. So that poor family in Texas, the dad shows up, he's frustrated, he can't see his kid, she's keeping him from him. It's a crime in Texas. It's Penal Code 25.03.
Yep.
It is a felony. It is a jailable offense. You can go to jail.
And we're actually going to get down, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually going to get into the law of the castle law, the stand your ground on castle law of Texas. We're going to get into that tonight. We're actually going to pull it up on the internet so you can see it straight hand for yourself. We're also, and just fair warning out there, this is a warning to you guys. We are going to show the video. We're also going to go back and cut the video down to show where the individual who did the shooting is 100% against the law. So
I believe
definitely,
so too. I don't think there's any way you can argue that this was self-defense. And
right.
I've written firearm legislation. I've helped push, Second Amendment gun rights to where Missouri is one of the most liberal states in the union for the freedom to carry a firearm legally and lawfully. And in my opinion, there's no way you can justify that shooting.
Absolutely. They're claiming self-defense, that Chad was attacking them. He was very aggressive. And granted, what parent wouldn't be aggressive when they're there to pick up a child? But we're going to get more into this. And we're actually going to go into the article that of the video that was released by Chad's now widow wife, that was also released by the attorney as well in the matter. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest fear, especially after the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. Everyone's going to use that Kyle Rittenhouse situation that self-defense motion to try to get out of a crime that they committed. Because one thing, like Kenneth was saying here, that we'll get right into the doctrine as well. You cannot use self-defense if there's a crime already being committed. And in Texas, there was a crime being committed, and therefore bringing the gun outside after already being in a confrontation. The guy literally went into the home after already having a confrontation to grab the gun and come back out and threaten Chad. So we're literally going to get into this. So, and if you, ladies and gentlemen, want to be part of the conversation, you guys want to make a comment, please do. We will see it here in order to bring them up as well. But this is a serious situation because what we're doing in the family law reform. We're trying to get these courts to hold parents accountable for parental interference, parental alienation. And that's what was happening in this case. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. We're not saying that what Chad did was correct. Do I believe he should have went there? No. Do I believe he should have showed up with the police? Yes. There's a lot of factors in play, and the fact that the son was not where the son was supposed to be for the pickup, that right there in itself is a crime against the mother in the situation.
In my opinion, though, the fact that he didn't have the police, once she notified him that, she wasn't going to turn the custody of the child over, from my understanding, he was told to be at this residence. Okay. He has a court order to pick up his son at a certain time. Let me,
because I actually did some more research into this today. What you're saying is actually incorrect. During the times of the pickup, the father is supposed to pick up the child at 3:15 at his school, at the son's school.
Okay.
The son wasn't there. Apparently, according to the video, you'll hear in the video, the mother claimed that the son is with her mom. Mm-hmm. Which is in a totally separate location. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, the son was not at school. The father was not notified. And then when he called and talked to the mom said that she was at work and that he could pick the son up later. And then that's when they arrived at this residence. It wasn't even a residence. It was actually the boyfriend's place of employment. It's where the guy worked. So it wasn't even a home. It was a place of work. It was a business place.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So go ahead. So continue what you were saying, and your theory on the whole thing.
Well, see, even if you apply those parameters to it, and that's something that we're learning on this whole case is that it keeps changing. There's a little bit more information that keeps coming out. But the point is that the child was supposed to be at school. A simple courtesy call to say, hey, Johnny was sick that day. He's not going to be at school. You can't pick him up there. I understand it's your court-ordered time. Please meet me at such and such location. Here you go. And we're not sitting here talking about a father being killed simply because he wants to see his child.
Absolutely. And here is, like you said, here's the prime factor of the entire notion of this entire situation. The fact that the mother did not notify the father that the child was not going to be in school, or that the child wasn't going to be there for the pickup. The mother even said in the video, which we're going to get into, and like I said, fair warning, it is graphic content. If you get, sick and ill-willed of this, I do apologize. It's not our intentions, but we got to show it for what it is. Even the mother even stated that she wanted to see her son before she relinquishes the son over to the father. But yet it is court ordered, and you can hear the father in the video say that it's court ordered. He was supposed to be there at 3:15. 3:15, I was supposed to pick him up, and he wasn't there.
Right. So therefore, so at that point, since the child's not there and you haven't notified him, you're in violation of State Penal Code 2503, which is a class felony, and you can go to jail for not having the child at the drop-off point that he was supposed to be at, which was the school. So a felony is already being committed before the father ever shows up. Okay,
absolutely.
He's a little aggravated. Who's not going to be? Because you have to, what if he had plans to be somewhere at 3:30 and he's just stopping off to pick the kid up and he has to be somewhere else. So you've inconvenienced the guy and he's got to go out of his way. He's got to break his plans, his schedules, just because you don't have the child at the place they are. But that's a felony. So automatically, before he ever comes to the property, And I would assume that he was told to be there. Otherwise, how would he know to go to that property if the kid wasn't
Exactly. Exactly.
And then he shows up, and they're arguing. And I don't want to say they're being too loud, but their voices are raised at each other, and then the boyfriend decides he's going to be Captain Save a person and runs in the house and disappears. So he removed himself from the situation. The dad's still out there. He's pretty calm in the whole thing. His voice is raised. Maybe he's a loud talker. I don't know. And then the boyfriend comes back out with a gun. So
and threatens Chad at that point.
Yeah, get off my property.
Yep.
But the problem is that the dad has legal reason to be on the property. He's there to pick up his child. So mom at that point should have de-escalated it and said, hey, boyfriend, take the gun back in the house. We'll go get his kid, whatever it was. But instead, she's recording. The wife of Chad, Jennifer Reed, is recording under their attorney's advice, because they had apparently been having these issues for quite some time, that the attorney was telling them to record the drop-offs and pickups because this had been going on for a while.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to make note that, again, this is happening in Texas. Texas has these laws. So to make it a felony, this is not statewide. Okay, this is not throughout the U.S. or anything. This is only strictly in Texas. So it is a felony in Texas for what the mother has done at this point. But
I have seen in the past year, I've personally seen probably, I would say somewhere around a dozen people that have actually been arrested, charged, and their mugshot thrown up with interference with parental custody in violation of Penal Code 2503.
Yep.
And so they do take it serious there in some counties, but that's the problem with having uncodified laws or places is it shouldn't matter what county you live in to have equality under the law.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, what I have up on the screen right now is actually a change.org site. This is a petition for Chad's law because of what happened on November 5th in the shooting and the death of this, or the slain death of this father. There is a petition out there the family put together. The link is right there on the screen as well, so you can see it. We encourage everybody to go to that link and sign this petition here. We're not going to read the petition right now, but that is the link right there on the screen. You can go to and sign it to help get the law changed, to help better parents who are fighting for custody, fighting to end the parental alienation and parental interference. So please go to that link and actually sign a petition to help us get that law changed. And then once we get a change in Texas, we can get a change all across the board, which is what we need. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to get each state the same. So there is no he said, she said, nonsense that goes on in these courts, that it's going to be a presumption of 50-50 automatically. And it's what's in the best interest of the children. Their entire stigma that the family courts and CPS have is in the best interest of the child. Well, now it's time for them to really step up and be in the best interest of the child. They need to catch up to the times and realize that this isn't, the 1700s anymore. They definitely need to step up to the times that are today, that fathers are just as important as the mothers. So that right there, again, the link is right there on the screen for you.
I mean, and, you could actually make the argument that fathers could be equally or more important, because when the father is not involved or doesn't have access to his children, there are over 70 negative societal traits. Teen pregnancies, being involved with gangs, likelihood to be in a prison system,
drop out of school.
Right. So we have 40 years of data of all this negative stuff that happens when a dad's not in the father or in the kids' lives. And I'm not saying that we should push the laws so far that moms don't have rights, but we should definitely move that pendulum right back to the middle so that fathers are equal parents as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go through this article before we show the video. I'm going to read straight from it, so you all can actually see exactly what's going on. Let's go ahead and do it this way. There we go. So, Chad Reed, widow, releases video of deadly shooting. Kurth attorney makes case for self-defense. Again, they're trying to claim that this was self-defense of the shooting.
But you also have to understand that Kyle's lawyer, from what I hear, or from my understanding, is one of the best criminal defense lawyers in the state of Texas. One of the best. So
that's he knows what I hear too.
And he's worried about the fact that he's probably going to be indicted or charged with this at the attorney general's level. And so he has one of the best defense lawyers in the state of Texas. So, of course, his lawyer's case is that it's going to be self-defense. Otherwise, his client and possibly mom are going to prison for what they call felony murder. And that is in the commission of a felony. Somebody dies. All parties get charged with the felony.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
Before dad ever showed up to the property, Penal Code 2503 is being broke, which is a felony. And therefore, there is no self-defense claim after the felony is being committed.
So we are going to play the video on this article here, but I want to go through the article first, because once we go through this article, you'll actually see the video. You'll see, where the felony aspects of this case has come about. Again, we're not saying that what Chad did was right by going there and causing an argument and getting heated and everything, but clearly he was not a threat. He didn't possess a weapon. He was there trying to pick up his son that the mother completely denied him access to at that point.
What we can say without any qualms or problems is that Chad is now the victim, and so are his children. Exactly.
And there's more than one. Like I said, he had one child with the mother of the situation, and he's got two other kids as well. But the Lubbock in Texas, the attorney for Chad Reed released a statement that the video of the shooting that killed 54-year-old Chad Reed on November 5th, along with the video, the attorney supplied a petition filed on Wednesday showing Jennifer Reed, Chad's widow, is seeking custody of her late husband's child from their mother. The news release states Jennifer Reed, the widow of Chad Reed, has filed a petition today seeking to take custody of Chad Reed's children from their mother, Christina Reed. Because of the new Lubbock public access system makes this information available to the public, and the likelihood of the information contained in her petition and affidavit being obtained by the media, she has decided that it is best to simply release the information directly instead of waiting for it to be discovered. Jennifer Reed and her attorney state they released a video of Kyle Kareth's shooting of her husband in the affidavit to speak for themselves. And I 100% agree with that.
A lot of people don't realize that there's more than one video. Apparently,
there's two.
Kyle Carruth had somebody inside the business or home or whatever you want to call it that was recording.
However, I've actually seen that video. I've seen, and I can pull it up on YouTube. We can show that here as well. That video began after Kyle went in to grab the weapon. So somebody started recording as he was walking out the door with the gun in his hand. So we'll pull that up. I'll show you guys. So on Friday, November 5th, the police found Chad Reed, 54, dead at a home in the 2100 block of the 90th Street. Police say through the initial course of the investigation, it appears there was a fight between Reed and another man, which is actually completely false, related to a domestic incident, and shots were fired.
And the reason why that's false is after you watch the video, Reed does go over there once the firearm is introduced. He was never out of control or what some people would say,
until after he was threatened.
Yeah. Once the gun comes out, then he feels threatened. He comes over there and he says, what are you going to do with that? Shoot me. I'll take it away from you and all that stuff. And
with a few choice words, there were some choice words in there.
Yeah,
but he was being threatened at that time.
There's not a state in the United States of America that because a man bumps into you, that's like saying that's literally the equivalent of saying that Chad Reed went over there and stepped on the guy's shoe and Kyle Carruth had the right to kill him. It's the literal equivalent. He went over and bumped chests with him and said, you're going to take that out, or are you going to shoot me with that? I'll take the gun from you and shoot you with it, and then the guy, they get into their little altercation. But that's literally the equivalent of like stepping on somebody's shoe and then they shoot you for it. It's not legal.
It's not. It's not. And like I said, we're going to show the video, but I'm going to get further into this because it goes in some more depths here. And this is where we can actually show that this news article is actually incorrect after you watch the video as well. So the mobile phone video from the vehicle parked in front of the home shows Chad Reed and who appears to be Kyle Unkerith arguing outside of the home on the 90th Street. Kerith, which is Kyle, is holding a long-barreled gun. The argument escalates, and Kerith fires a shot in the ground towards Reed. Reed gets more agitated and tries to take the gun. After physical contact with each other, wrestling with the gun, Kerith steps back and fires 2 shots. 2 shots, ladies and gentlemen, with a shotgun, okay? It wasn't even a long-barreled rifle. It was a shotgun, okay?
Yeah, it's a tactical gun because it has a pistol grip and it has some type of a barrel, not a suppressor, but a barrel flash, to keep the flash and stuff down. So it does sound very muffled. And when he first shot with it, when you first watch the video, it doesn't sound like what everybody would equate to a shotgun going off. So I believe that the second video is more damning to Kyle Carruth than the first because from the inside, once they start arguing with the gun, which, by the way, that's where the second crime in Texas is committed because there's an accidental discharge or he attempts to shoot Reed in the legs. That's also a crime in Texas, to give a warning shot or to have an accidental discharge. And so the second video, once the distance is created for those 2 shotgun blasts, he's 10 or 12 feet away from him when he shoots him with the shotgun. You're not in danger, man.
Yep. Now, he's claiming that Kyle lunged at him. Oh, not Kyle, I'm sorry. Chad lunged at him. In the video, you don't see that at all.
He pulls away from him with the gun as they're arguing over the gun. But mind you, the guy's already pumped off around into the floor, whether he was accidentally discharging it, was given a warning shot or whatever, So at that point, I mean, what reasonable person isn't expecting that you're trying to kill them? Who's not going to fight for the gun?
Exactly. So before the shots were fired, the camera moves in the video of the shooting is not caught on camera. However, shots are audible. When the video pans back towards Reed, he is lying motionless on the porch. KCBD has chosen to edit the video to not show Chad Reed's total body after he was shot. It's actually incorrect. They did. The curse words have also been bleeped from the video. So I'm gonna play it right here because you can clearly see. This is the beginning of the video that starts in the vehicle. Okay, this is Chad's wife sitting in the car. Okay, recording everything. So this is on the Chad's wife's account.
And it should be noted that the reason why she was recording is because they were told by Chad and her attorney to start recording these contentious drop-offs. Yep. Because there was a problem that was going on. Mom wasn't turning over the kid, whatever it was. The attorney had told them, you guys need to start recording all these drop-offs. And so that's what she was doing. That's why she's recording in the first place. So right here, this is Chad. Okay. This is Chad right here. This is Kyle. Okay. The boyfriend of the mother, which is right here. Oh, by the way, the boyfriend is married to a family area judge. I don't believe that the affair. He's an attorney, apparently. I don't believe the affair was known all the way until the shooting happened. Right. And then the family court judge and Marie Carruth has since filed for divorce because obviously she's trying to distance herself away from a man that just shot and killed somebody for no reason. So we're going to play this video all the way through for you first, and then we're going to go back to the beginning and go into it piece by piece by piece to show where the laws were broken, where these felony charges can be placed on Kyle for what he did. So we're just going to sit back. We're going to let you watch the video just for a quick second here. It's not that long. It's only a few minutes. Yeah, so he said, get off my property there, and then walked in the house. Yeah, just hold on 1 second. I want them to see it all the way through. Telling me that I can pick him up at 6? I'm going to have to talk. I've already got the pump on the way to your mom's house. Because that's
probably where he is. It's not when I'm done working. I get him at 3:15. I get him at 3:15. I don't care if you wanted to see him or not. I get him at 3:15. If you want to see him, you see him up until 3:15. You keep trying to keep my son from me. I'm fixing to drag you and Anne-Marie and everybody else into court. I'm subpoenaing your mom. I'm subpoenaing Anne-Marie. This is on video. I'm very glad. I am. Please do it right now. You better use it, mother. I'll take it from you.
Call the police. Call 911. Call 911. Call 911. Call 911. Call 911. Call 911. Video, Kyle. You did it, not him.
I told all of y'all to leave.
We came to get his son.
He's not here.
She should have told that. She should have told that.
None of y'all should be here. None of y'all should be here.
No. All right. So again, we're back at the beginning of this video here.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, you can see Kyle's got no gun in his hand.
Right.
No gun. So, yes, is Chad a little bit peed off the fact that his son's not where he's supposed to be?
He's using some bad language. I heard him call her. It sounded like whore or something like that. But once again, just because you're being an asshole doesn't mean you can kill somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this, like I said, this was a video that was shot by Chad's wife inside the car. Okay. Now, like I said, you can see that Chad is a bit agitated. But the thing is, he's sitting there saying that I'm going to, subpoena you. I'm going to subpoena you. I'm going to subpoena you into court. He's not a threat. He's not there to cause bodily harm. He's there to pick up his son that the mother is clearly keeping from him. She is claiming that she just wants to see her son before he goes to his dad's, and that his dad can pick him up at 6 o'clock. That's not what's in the court order. That's not what was agreed upon. Therefore, the mother is keeping his son from him illegally in the state of Texas. Clearly, it's right there, black and white. I don't know how else to explain that. You want to take it from there before we break it down piece by piece?
Yeah.
All right. So clearly you can see Kyle right here, no weapon. Okay. Yes, he does state to get off the property, and we'll get up to that point to where he starts walking away.
Yeah, get off my property. He's like, yo, dude, I'm here to get my kid.
Yeah, so he did say get off my property. But the thing is, Chad's not being a threat.
And he has a legal reason to be there. He's trying to pick up his son. His court order appointed time for his son.
Exactly. So, and like I said, we're breaking this down piece by piece for you, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. So now Kyle's walking away. He's going to walk inside. You can clearly see he's got no weapon in his hand at this time.
I'll go get him. I'm supposed to have him at 3:15.
Right there. 3:15. He's supposed to have him at 3:15.
Right. And Chad's saying, I don't want to hear that crap. I'll go get him. And she's saying, no, we'll get him, and so that's what they're arguing over is where is the child? Where's the child? Why are you interfering with custody? Why are you committing a felony?
Yep.
So the cops are already on the way.
Cops are on the way to the mother's house, to her mother's house, not here. They're not on the way to this location. They're on the way to the mother's house, the grandmother. Mm-hmm. Okay.
To see if the child's there.
Yeah.
That's probably where he is. It's not when I'm done working. I get him at 3:15.
I do apologize. It sounded like he said whore. He said, I'm done working and I'm always supposed to pick him up at 3:15. So it was hard to catch it in the first one. So he wasn't even being that big of an asshole. He just said, I'm done working.
I'll rewind it just a little bit so you guys can hear it again.
until 3:15. You keep trying to keep my son from me. I'm fixing to drag you and Anne Marie and everybody else into court.
Bingo.
So he's outing the affair. I'm getting ready to drag you and the family court judge into family court with your boyfriend. So he's outing the affair.
Yeah. So needless to say, is Chad a bit agitated? What parent wouldn't be? What parent wouldn't be? But the thing is, he's not coming up to her to cause her any harm. He's having a discussion with her. Yeah, he's being a little bit loud, but he's having a discussion saying, look, you're violating this, and I'm going to subpoena you guys. He's supposed to be here at 3:15, and he's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, again, the mother's already committed a felony in the state of Texas. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's the first felony right there. That's the first felony, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? First, remember that. First felony. Okay? Right there. Let's continue to play here.
I'm subpoenaing your mom. I'm subpoenaing Anne
Glad
Marie.
this is on video. I'm very
Yeah,
glad.
I am.
Boom. Holy Toledo's. The gun right there. Okay? Now, this does zoom in a little bit. You'll see it.
Do it. Right you better use it, mother. Good God, I'll take it from you.
Call the police. Call 911.
Once again, he's not swinging on him. He's not trying to cause bodily injury.
Right
Pause
there.
right there.
First shot. The
Pause
first
it right
shot
there.
right there.
Let me read this to you.
Yep. Go ahead.
Let me read this to you. Let me pull it back up. So that accidental discharge, whether he's trying to get it around, whether he's trying to shoot Chad in the leg, whatever he's trying to do, Texas Penal Code 22.05, deadly conduct. A person commits an offense if he recklessly engages in conduct that places another in imminent danger or serious bodily injury. A person commits an offense if he knowingly discharges a firearm at or in the direction of one or more individuals. So here's felony number 2.
Mm-hmm. Felony number 2 right there is the first shot that was placed towards Kyle at his feet. Okay?
Call 911.
So now you have to hold on. Let's back up.
Yep.
Call 911.
Right there.
Target.
Okay, so that discharge. Now,
Yep.
now you're not going to tell me that Reed's not fearing for his life. You just discharged a shotgun round into the floor. At what point does Reed have a position that he can defend himself because you're recklessly shooting off a firearm around him because he's there to pick up his child because his ex-wife is committing felony interference with custody? At what point does Mr. Reed have a position to where he can defend himself by grabbing a hold of the gun that the idiot just shot off around into the floor and almost blew his leg off?
Yep. Exactly. So in reality here, who's now in self-defense? It would be Chad. Chad's in self-defense because this guy's already shot one round towards him. And he's trying to de-escalate the situation in my eyes. He's trying to take the gun from him. He's, in my honest opinion, he's not going to turn the gun on him. He's going to take it away from him because he knows that, what's happening is a felony. Because clearly he knows the laws in Texas. Clearly.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue here. Boom. 2 shots.
He's probably the video from Caruth's, whoever the Caruth party is inside the house, shows that when David was trying to take the gun when Chad was trying to take the gun from him and he slung around and Kyle's pulling the gun away from him, that Kyle's probably about 10 to 12, maybe even 15 feet away from him now at the time he fires those 2 shots into Chad's chest.
Mm-hmm. All right, somebody asked for the video. I'm actually going to. It's an actual article, or it's a news station that's actually playing it. But before I do that, I want to finish going through this one here.
Video, Kyle. You did it.
So this is after the 2 shots.
Video, Kyle. You did it, not him.
I told all of y'all to leave.
We came to get his son.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is not a rifle. That is a shotgun.
It's also a crime in almost all states to not render aid. So instead of you just shot this dude and you're not helping him out. The guy's obviously out of the screen. They've blurred it out on there. They've cut a little bit of the clip out.
She should have told that.
Yep.
She should have told that.
Y'all should be here.
But no one's
Everybody's
providing
like,
aid.
Y'all should be here.
Watch
Everybody's
this.
like, well, why didn't Jennifer Reed run down there and help him? Well, number one, I don't believe she realized what was going on, because that doesn't sound like a shotgun going off. That is a tactical shotgun. But I don't think she realized what was going on until he wasn't getting back up. And by the way, just so everybody knows, Mr. Reed and Kyle Carruth have known each other since way back in the day. Back in the day. I have screenshots from 2015 and 16 of them being invited to dinners and events together. So they've known each other for years upon years. Kyle's mad because Mr. Reed's getting ready to out his affair to his soon-to-be ex-wife. She filed for divorce in September, and they've emergency rushed it through since he shot and killed Mr. Reed.
Absolutely.
This isn't just two guys that haven't known each other, that haven't been around each other, you know, this
video is disturbing.
Go ahead. No, sorry. I'm trying to find the actual other footage.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that, this isn't some dude that this is the first time that Chad Reed and him have met. And so therefore he's actually fearful of him. They've known each other for the better part of 5-6 years, according to Facebook, just in posts and events they've been together.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the other video. I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. Again, this is actually on a news station's reporting. So I'm just going to play it from here because this actually shows the other side after the one that from the outside.
Yeah.
Call 911.
So.
Yeah, this is the one from in the house.
Yep.
Her ex-husband has showed up.
He's not lunging. He wasn't lunging.
After their initial investigation, LPD did not charge.
So that was the footage from the inside. He was not lunging. He was just standing there.
Yeah, he's not lunging. You've already cleared 10 to 15 feet of space in between you. When he slung you around with the firearm, you just discharged at his feet. Look at all that space in between.
Look at all that space. Holy, look, I'll play that again for you. Hold on. Let me go back.
He's already cleared the threat area of even having Mr. Reed take the firearm from him.
Her ex-husband has showed up. I'm recording it. Oh my God.
So not only is he traumatizing Mr. Reed's wife and Mr. Reed's kids in the truck, but whoever in the heck is in the house recording this, he's traumatizing them because they just watched a murder as well.
Wow, I'm looking at this clearly. First of all, you can see Chad, he swings the guy around, the one that's holding the actual gun. Chad grabs the gun, swings the guy around, which pushes him further back. Clearly, you can see he's a good 10 to 15 feet away in this video, 10 to 15 feet away. Yep. Okay? Chad's standing there. He's not lunging. The guy is pointing the gun at him, the shotgun, and shoots twice. Chad falls onto the porch. If he was lunging at Kyle, Chad would have fell forward into the dirt right there on the ground. He would have fell right here, not over here on the porch. Clearly.
I don't think these videos help Kyle Carruth's self-defense case in any way.
No, absolutely not. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to get into. And then go ahead and move that one over here. I'll keep that one up. So if we have to, we'll go back to it. Let's go ahead and minimize this. All right. So, and I told you guys we're going to go over the doctrine, the self-defense, as well as the castle law doctrine that is down here in Texas. This is it right here, okay? This is from Texas, okay? Texas case law. What is the castle law in Texas? The doctrine of self-defense. The castle law or doctrine is a common law theory that has existed for hundreds of years. The doctrine comes from the idea that a man's home is his castle and a person should not be forced to retreat from a place where they should feel safe. It is a concept that expresses basic human values of justice and fairness. A person should be able to protect themselves at home and not suffer the consequences of someone else's crime. Okay, the doctrine is not a single law, but a concept of self-defense that individual states may limit or expand as they see fit. In many states, a version of the Castle Doctrine has been adopted to allow the justified use of force against an intruder in your home or workplace, even if you have a way to get around or get away from the situation, commonly called a duty to retreat. Other laws, called stand your ground laws, cover situations where an individual is threatened with force, usually somewhere other than their home or workplace. So I don't think I need to go any further on this one. No. Chad wasn't posing a threat. He wasn't trying to cause bodily harm to anybody. He was just demanding his fatherly rights.
Being belligerent isn't a threat.
Exactly.
If he's standing there punching Kyle in the head, or if he's assaulting his ex-wife, then
the other thing was he was told to come to that place. He was told to come there and pick up his child. So therefore, he had a legal right to be on that property.
Yeah, it's not trespassing. You can't argue trespassing if you told the guy to come there.
Exactly.
You can't say that you're using the Castle Doctrine because
not once did Chad ever attempt to go into the home.
Well, you have the right to defend your property as well. So
you do. However, there was no direct threat. And the fact that Kyle walked away, he walked back into the home. Chad never followed him. He never followed him once.
It'd be different if Chad Reed's out there busting your windows out of your house and Kyle goes in the house and gets a gun, but he doesn't. Yep. Chad's out there, not calmly, but he's having a lively discussion with the ex-wife. Where's my kid? It's 3:15. If you want to see him, you do that on your time. Give me my child. And then Kyle comes back out with the gun. But he did that as soon as the guy started talking. So to me, if you tell the guy to come there, Chad Reed, and the child, the child's not there, as soon as he gets there and starts talking to you, you go in the house and get a firearm. How is that not premeditated?
Exactly. And if you actually see the unedited version, because the versions you were seeing were done by the news agencies to blur out the dead body and the actual shots being fired. Unfortunately, the actual video was taken down. I was actually looking for it in the process of looking for the other video. But how does the doctrine in Texas work? To determine how the Castle law works, it is important to understand the underlying laws of self-defense and the use of force related to protecting others and property. The key word in all of these laws is reasonable. For an example, it is never considered reasonable to use force against someone for words alone. Do I have to repeat that? For words alone. And that's exactly what Chad was doing.
So him being an asshole, doesn't matter what he was saying, doesn't matter about any of that stuff. You can't claim self-defense that he was cussing you out or said, hey, man, I'm going to take that gun from you. You better put that thing away. You cannot claim the Castle Doctrine. The Castle Doctrine does not fit. You're not having to protect your home, your property, or your life. Chad's not out there busting your windows up. He's not trying to punch you and cause a free-for-all. He's asking where his kid is.
Yep. So Texas Penal Code 9.31b1, if the force used is reasonable in a situation, then using force is considered justified. And clearly there was not in this. When force is used in specific circumstances of the Castle Doctrine, the law presumes that this use of force was reasonable. The presumption of reasonableness makes it much easier to avoid criminal charges. And even if you are charged, it is much easier to prove that your actions were justified. The Castle Doctrine in Texas presumes the use that using force is reasonable and justified when another person, one, and these are the key ones, ladies and gentlemen, one, unlawfully and with force enters or attempts to enter your habitation, vehicle, or workplace, or 2, attempts to remove you by force from your habitation, vehicle, or workplace, or 3, was committing or attempting to commit an aggressive kidnapping, murder, sexual assault, aggressive assault, etc., robbery, etc., etc. None of that was happening here.
None of that was happening. The only crimes that were being committed were actually the Kyle Carruth and Jennifer, or not Jennifer, but Christine Reed.
Yep. So in the context of self-defense, habitation means any structure or vehicle that is adapted for overnight living by a person. However, it only includes structures that are connected to the main habitation. For example, a detached garage that is separate structure from your house would likely not be considered your habitation. But if the garage was attached to the home, then it would be considered part of your habitation. As it relates to the castle doctrine, a vehicle is any device by which a person or property can be propelled or moved. This includes, but is not limited to, cars, golf carts, ATVs, boats, and airplanes. Now, there are exceptions. There are exceptions, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to go through all this here because this is really important, okay? There are 2 major exceptions to the castle law doctrine. The person seeking to claim protection under the law cannot have provoked or started the incident. Kenneth, you want to take it from there?
The castle doctrine doesn't apply in any of this. There's just no way that you can.
Clearly, literally, I'll reread that again. There are 2 major exceptions to the castle doctrine. The person seeking to claim protection under the law cannot have provoked or started the incident.
So when you went into the house to get the firearm, didn't you provoke and start the incident?
By you telling the father, Chad, to come to the location to pick up his son, that started the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. This is also known as being the aggressor. So Kyle Carruth is the aggressor.
Yep.
And it is not permitted under Texas law.
Yeah. The person must also not be engaged in criminal activity at the time of the incident taking place, which there was already a felony in process.
And he committed another one with the whatever that was. I don't know if that was an accidental discharge or if that was him shooting off a warning shot, but neither one are legal there in Texas.
Yeah. So a person that is engaged in criminal activity will not be entitled to a castle doctrine defense, but they may be able to claim self-defense and lessen their punishment depending on the circumstances surrounding the event. But clearly,
so here's my thing. If you put this in front of 12 reasonable jurors in the state of Texas, and believe me, Texans are all about their firearms. But if you put this in front of 12 reasonable jurors, they're not going to say that it's self-defense. You were the aggressor. You're committing crimes. The only reason why Kyle Carruth hasn't been charged is because his soon-to-be ex-wife is a family court judge. The Lubbock Police Department feels that, it'd be a conflict of interest, so they punted and sent it over to the Attorney General, Ken Paxton's office, to either have him indicted or to have them say, no, we're not going to charge him.
Yep. But this right here, this is the exception to the whole, doctrine to stand your ground,
you can't be engaged in criminal activity.
And he's engaging in that activity of a felony by his girlfriend, the mother of the situation, by keeping the child away from their father who was there, who was told to come there to pick up the child. So therefore, a crime has already been committed. A felony has already been committed. Plain and simple. It's right there in black and white, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how else to explain that. It's right there. This right here explains the entire thing. It explains the entire thing. Okay, Lucas, I don't know if you actually saw. We actually did play that. I am sorry I wasn't paying attention to the comments until now. We did show that video of the perspective on the inside. But like I said, as far as the doctrine is concerned, the exceptions to that doctrine is the fact is that a person that is engaged in a criminal activity will not be entitled to a castle doctrine defense. So there is no self-defense here. The mother instigated this by telling the father he cannot pick up the child until 6 p.m., which was against court order. Therefore, it was a felony in progress. When the father showed up to pick his son up like he was told to do, regardless of whatever time it was, the fact that the mother violated the court order as a felony, that the boyfriend, Kyle, decided to take upon his own self. And if you actually seen the rest of the video that's unedited by the media, you will literally sit there and see that this guy was literally smiling the entire time.
Yeah.
You'll also see that the mother didn't even attempt. She stood right where you saw her standing when Chad was talking to her. She didn't move 1 inch.
Yeah, you just watched the man get gunned down, and you didn't even move. You just stood there like, oh, sucks to suck. But yeah, the video is pretty telling. Like when you slow it down into the stills, when Kyle comes back out with the shotgun right before him and Chad Reed, meet with chest to chest. He's standing there smiling big as hell. Yep. People that are scared for their life don't smile while they're getting. You know who smiles? People that are getting ready to shoot you in cold blood.
Yep. This, honestly, my honest opinion, this was premeditated.
I think so too.
This was premeditated because you didn't hear this in the video because, like I said, it was the edited version. I'm trying to locate the main video. It looks like they took it down.
You're talking about where she says, "Oh my God, I can't believe you
actually did it.
You actually did it." That's actually Jennifer Reed, who is the wife.
Yep. You actually
and I only
did it.
know that. I only know that because I talked to the daughter, and she clarified who said that.
And in the original video that was posted that I saw literally yesterday, I had it up. Unfortunately, my computer decided I want to do an update this morning. Go figure.
Mine does that all the time.
But yeah, no, clearly you could hear that. You done gone on and did it. It
I don't know how you take this in front of a grand jury or a reasonable jury of 12 people and you don't go to prison for that. Now, the problem is the underlying issue is the fact that millions and millions of fathers and non-custodial mothers go through this every damn week. When you go to pick up your kid and the cops show up and they tell you, "Oh, we don't care that you have a court-ordered."
It's a civil matter. Take it back to court.
It's a civil matter. Go spend tens of thousands of dollars you don't have. No, sir, it's not. Almost every single state in the union has a interference with parental custody. Yep. Some of them are misdemeanors. Some of them are misdemeanors that turn into felonies. Texas is a felony automatically. So every state in the union has these laws on the books. They just will not enforce them. And when they won't enforce them, people get aggravated because they can't see their child.
Stuff like this happens.
I blame the family courts for that.
Exactly. And I was actually getting ready to touch on that. One, the mother's at fault for this shooting taking place. Kyle is at fault for this being taking place because he's the one that actually fired the shots. So therefore, the mother needs to be charged as well as Kyle in the situation. However, who else should be blamed? The courts, the Gauls, the guardian ad litems, the judges, and any other party in this that allowed it to get this way. Because we know what the court system does in family court. They literally turn parents against one another. They pit the parents against each other.
And then when you do file the contempts and you try to take the appropriate steps and you try to do all these things, I mean, Chad was trying to do the right thing. He'd already called law enforcement, but he just happened to run into them before law enforcement got where he was or was going to be. And within the span of a 2-minute video, we watch an old boy get gunned down only because simply he wants his child when it was his court-appointed time to have him.
Yep. So who's really to blame here at the court system? Point blank. Because they're the ones that create these types of conflicts. And instead of actually abiding by their own court order, and not just the courts, but also the police departments. Because at this point, there's a felony in progress. Police need to file a police report. There are legal actions that need to be taken, and the courts need to start holding these parents accountable. The police need to start holding these parents accountable.
Yeah, because what we were talking about at the beginning of the show is that even though Texas has a felony charge under 2503, depending on what county you're in, the police, when they'll tell you, no, we're not coming and taking that police report. We're not taking the call, and have a nice day. It's a civil matter. Go back to court.
Yep.
But if you live in the next county over, they will take that. They will arrest mom. So, you know what? People don't scam or game the system to where they know that, oh, I live in Dallas County, so I can get away with withholding the child, or I live in Tarrant County and they'll actually throw my butt in jail. So I better make sure that the child's at the drop off and pickups.
Yeah. So needless to say, and this is happening all over the U.S., ladies and gentlemen. It's not just here in the U.S. It's happening abroad too. It's happening in Australia, the U.K., Brazil. I mean, it's happening everywhere. It's not just here in the States. But the fact is that these local law enforcement do not want to get involved in the disputes. Why? Because, in my honest opinion, they just don't want to do the paperwork. Because they claim that it's a civil matter, that we can just take this back and forth to court.
Well,
I'm sorry, going back and forth to court ain't going to solve it.
Think about this, okay? When I first started mine, and I'm speaking from my personal experience, when I first started mine, the Franklin County Sheriff's Department, and they're a well-liked law enforcement agency in the part of Missouri that I live in. When they first started coming out, they told me the same thing. We're not going to do that. We're not going to take the reports. Don't waste our time. So about the third or fourth time I made the call, I had my state laws laid out under what the Missouri penal codes are, or the revised statute. We call them revised statutes here in Missouri. What the revised statutes of Missouri were. And I called them up and I said, yo, man, you're going to take this report. It's a crime. I will sue this sheriff's department if you don't take this report. I started getting the reports. They would give them to me every other weekend. And they were good reports. Mr. Rosa called in. It's his court-appointed time. We seen his paperwork. I actually have a copy in my squad car now because every weekend I work is when Mr. Rosa's working. And so they send them over to the prosecutors, and then the prosecutors dismiss it. What cop wants to have charges sent over time after time after time? I mean, there was 42 of them in my case, and the prosecutor won't prosecute 42 interference with parental custodies. So what cop wants to do that? None of them. You're wasting your time.
In my own personal case, I'm supposed to get contact with my children 3 times a week and see my children once a month. I literally, prisoners in prison get more time with their children than I do. But I have called the police on numerous occasions where, 2 weeks or more went by that I didn't hear from my kids. And over the last 3 years, I've had to call the non-emergency number because it's not an emergency. So I called the non-emergency number and said, look, I'd like to get a police report written. I like to talk to the officer. Yeah, don't ever call 911. Exactly.
Yeah, that'll get you arrested.
Yeah, so I've called the non-emergency number, and I requested an officer to come out, to write a report, so I can get a case number and everything, so I can take the court with me, and I know these officers, each one of them that's shown up to my home, so I can get a police report. Officer Debedanza, Officer James. I did loss prevention for 7 years, where I caught shoplifters, so I dealt with the officers in this area on a regular basis. They know me. And of course, when officer, and I'm just using Officer Debedanza as an example. She showed up. She goes, "You're still dealing with this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, unfortunately." She goes, she's like, "My hands are tied. There's no report that we can write or anything." I'm like, "This is absolutely ridiculous because a crime is being committed. Therefore, a crime is being committed. It is their job to enforce the law, to enforce, court orders. It's no different than if it was a protection order. And this happened to me. I'll use this one as a prime example. Okay, on April 1st of 2013. Okay, April 1st, the mother violated a cross protection order that we had against each other that was granted by the courts. Why? Because the mother attacked the kids and I in the circuit courthouse lobby just before Christmas of 2012. Okay. On April 1st of 2013, the mother violated that order by coming over to my house to slash my tires on the vehicle that I used to own and egg my home. I found out from an informant that this was going to happen. I called up Debedanza and said, "Hey, I got the situation happening. I need you guys over here." This, I have a order of protection, a cross protection order against her. She's not supposed to be anywhere near my home or my place of employment. Mm-hmm. She goes, hang up with me and call 911 now. So I hung up with her, called 911. They called the mother of my children, 15 feet away from my vehicle, in a vehicle that I gave description of, with the knife in her pocket, the eggs in her lap, wearing all black with a hoodie. She literally told Officer James and Deborah Danza that night that the reason why she did it is she was getting back at me. For what? I didn't do nothing to her. So she was literally arrested that night on the spot and taken to jail. Mm-hmm. Where were my kids? They were in foster care at the time. So the police can interfere at that point because it's a protection order. Mm-hmm. But yet they're not willing to enforce another court order of visitation. Ladies and gentlemen, do you not see where the conflict of interest is when it comes to us dealing with the police and the court systems now? Because the police don't want to enforce a order written by a judge, but yet they will for a protective order.
I haven't seen my son 3 years as of Christmas Eve of this year will be the third year.
Oh my God.
It's been so long. Let's see, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, so it'll be 3 years Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve of 2018, my son goes to the mall, and then he just disappears. So they're getting ready to issue an Amber Alert for this child until they find out the custodial mom has him 47 minutes away in a different county, because the mall was in St. Louis County. She had taken him back to Franklin County. I have the sheriff's department report, and the first line in there she went to the sheriff's department report, and she says, I'm coming in here to make this report because I know my ex-husband will have me charged with kidnapping. It is kidnapping. It is literally a crime. So the police department where it happened, they wouldn't issue. They're like, well, she is the custodial mother. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? The state statutes say that if you entice, or force a child to leave the other parent's parenting time, it's kidnapping. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you that if I had showed up somewhere and took him, I would have went to jail.
Locked up, handcuffs, and everything.
I guarantee you that in the last 3 years against the court order, that if I wanted to see my son and showed up to her house, I would be on the news just like this, because her boyfriend at the time was a belligerent, it is what it is. But I guarantee you that this situation can happen to any of us at the blink of an eye, because number one, you get these dudes like Kyle Carruth that don't respect the instance that's going on in between Chad Reed and Mrs. X Chad Reed. So he wants to jump in there and act like he's all tough and introduce
Superman.
Yeah. He's Captain Save-A-Ho, and he goes in the house and gets a gun, and now somebody's dead over it. So this type of situation happens all over the place, and non-custodial fathers are just punked out because.
Not just that. I don't know. Have you ever heard the book called For the Life of Eric?
No, I don't think so.
All right. I don't remember the father's name off the top of my head. I actually had him on my show a couple of years back. I actually have his book down here on my bookshelf. But just a brief description, okay? He actually won full custody of his son, okay? Mm-hmm. He won full custody of his child. He was told to go over to the home of the mother to pick up the said child with the sheriff's department and the grandparents. So they all go in and they pick up the child. While the sheriff's department went up to get the child, to bring him down to the grandparents and the father, pow, pow, 2 gunshots. The mother shot the child and then shot herself. Murder-suicide.
Mm-hmm. But what kind of system does that show that I think it's called Missoula, Montana. There was a lady that she had mental health issues for a while. It was well documented. And the mental health issues were so bad that she was harming the children. The Division of Family Services stepped in. They ended up taking the kids. They give them to dad under a temporary custody order. He's, sorting life out with them, got them going in the right direction and everything. And then mom shows back up and she wants to have the children. And so the judge, even though what they're used to is a stable home environment with their father, gives dad every other weekend and one Wednesday every other week dinner visit. And then mom, who had a repeated history of mental health issues, kills both kids. I mean, you can go to Texas. The mom that, the dad had the jury trial. It was one of the first ones we've ever seen in a custody issue. They told mom she had to turn the kids over on Sunday. He goes to pick them up at the sheriff's department on Saturday or on Monday. And because she didn't show up to drop them off, the kids are dead.
Oh my God. I got another video that I want to show you guys because, what you just said reminded me of the situation in Ohio a couple years back. I'm just going to play it for you guys because this was so heartbreaking.
Daughter!
An emotional arraignment. Two people charged with murdering a 4-year-old girl in Euclid make their first court appearance this afternoon. And sitting just behind them is the girl's grieving and shell-shocked father. News 5's Jordan Vandenberg joins us live from Euclid Municipal Court with more. Jordan?
Well, the arraignments of Sierra Day and Deontay Lewis oftentimes was difficult to sit through as the grieving father of four-year-old Anya Day Garrett had trouble controlling his emotions. Flanked by attorneys, Deontay Lewis and Sierra Day walked into the courtroom. Flanked by friends and loved ones, Michael Garrett couldn't bear the sight of them.
Preliminary hearing, please sign the bottom. The attorney will.
Her name was Anaya Day, a happy-go-lucky 4-year-old who had a permanent smile on her face, her family says. On Sunday, Euclid police and fire found her unresponsive. She was badly emaciated and burned, police say. The coroner says Anaya died from blunt force trauma to the head and was severely malnourished. Her mother, Sierra, and her mother's boyfriend, Deontay, were detained at the scene. 2 days later, they were charged with aggravated murder.
Did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of Anaya Day.
Sitting just feet away, Garrett, the girl's biological father, had an outpouring of emotion that could not be contained. Garrett tells News 5 that he had been trying to gain custody of Anaya since last fall, and Child Family Services confirms there were 3 prior investigations for alleged neglect. CFS also says it had an open case and was scheduled to meet with Sierra on Monday. For Garrett, the irony is beyond painful. Today, everything is.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty typical that mom can have 3 or 4.
There were 4 because I reported on this right after this happened. After the mom was and the boyfriend was found guilty. We did some Stephen Ball and I. We literally reported on this case. God. Still hits me.
There's a statistic out there that not a lot of people are aware of. The child is 71%, 70.2% and 71.2%. So the 70.2 is to be neglected or abused in the custody of mom with the boyfriend present. And the 71% is the child is 71.2% more likely to be killed at the mom's residence with the boyfriend than anyone they'll ever be with in their life. And that comes from the government's own statistics from the child maltreatment reports, 2001 through 2006, all the way up through 2013. But what they did in 2013 was they got a little shady because the numbers weren't going the way they wanted them to. So they stopped reporting the difference in between father and mother instances and just started reporting parental instances.
Mm-hmm. So, the video you just saw, it was actually here. I'll pull it up because I want you all to see the date. The date is right here, literally March 13, 2018. So literally just 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And the research that I did, I reached out to the family. Unfortunately, due to the circumstances at the time, they were too distraught to want to comment or to be brought on the show. They were already being bombarded by mainstream media, and we decided to just let it go and just report on what we had. We had enough, to report on anyway. But 4 cases, so 3 prior cases against the mother,
And an active one.
and then a 4th one, which they said that they were going to meet with the mother on that upcoming Monday. This was a Saturday. The Saturday is when the child was found dead in the home. Okay.
And dad still can't get custody.
And dad still couldn't get custody. So they had an open case against the mom, but yet they didn't take the child away from the mother. That right there alone, a 4th case, they should immediately, hell, even after the 2nd case, they should have immediately taken the child.
And
The Department of CPS and Family Courts failed this child, just like they fail a lot of other children out there. Just like the 11-year-old son of Chad Reed, the 11-year-old son of Chad Reed is now fatherless just before Christmas because of the court system completely failing them.
to be totally fair, we can go tit for tat on
Yep.
fathers that do this as well. So my 2 points on that is what kind of a system are we living in that parents, mothers or fathers, would rather kill their own children than go to family court? And number 2,
Or share the child, period.
or share the child. And number 2, fathers are the only ones that face this. You got four counts, an active open case of child abuse there in that particular case, and dad still can't get custody. So, what does have to happen for a dad to get custody? At that point, it was too late because the child's been killed. How about the one down in Texas where the boyfriend beat the kid to death, and then they left the dead body in the apartment for a year, and then mom and the boyfriend, the scumbag boyfriend, move out, and they just left the other 3 children in there with the dead body and were like, good luck. They had groceries.
Oh, you're talking about the one that was up in the attic.
No, he was in the bedroom with the damn kids. So they're being made to sleep in the same room with their dead brother.
Oh,
and
good God.
He beat the 8. That was in Houston, Texas. Just happened last month. And the reason
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, the reason why she didn't report the child deceased a year ago is because she was still collecting the child support payments.
Oh, so child support fraud. Ooh, go figure. But yet the system says it doesn't happen. I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there, ladies and gentlemen. They say it don't happen, but it does. That's why we need these laws to be changed. That's the reason why we need, everybody or someone or an entire team for family law reform. And we're doing that. I'm working with a team here in Maryland to try to get legislation passed in Maryland. Kenneth, I know you're doing some work. I know Jeff Morgan down in Texas. He's trying to get things changed down there. There's so many people that we can mention. I really hate mentioning names because there's so many people that we leave out. Because there's so many great work.
A really, really great shot at this year is the Ohio team with MPO and the McNeeses. She's a phenomenal person. And if they can knock off a state like Ohio, for instance, Ohio is the 3rd largest collection of child support in the United States of America, behind Texas and California. So if we can get the laws changed in a big state like Ohio, Texas comes back into session for 2023 because they have 2-year cycles of their stuff. And so if we get the Ohio laws changed this year, then we'll for sure be able to get the Texas legislator and the Texas team down there to get that passed in 2023 because Texas doesn't want to be outdone by anybody. So they're going to make sure that their laws are changed to come up to the standards and the times of the modern day family. And a father should be considered a parent way before 3 or 4 times of abuse is alleged that, that the dad can have the damn kid.
Absolutely. We definitely need a presumption of equal shared parenting at the very, very beginning. You know, unless there is direct evidence of physical, mental, or emotional abuse, and at that point, then the courts need to file criminal charges on that parent. That's the way I see it.
I see it too. I mean, we can't keep negating or neglecting the fact that moms do commit abuse too. Fathers should be considered an equal parent, and that they should be in the conversation to have the custody of the child. You can't just keep giving the custody back to the other person simply because they're the mom. That's asinine, and it has deadly consequences, like in Missoula, Montana, there in Ohio, Dallas, Texas. I mean, I could go pull up 100 articles where that's happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing is the Chad's Law. This is a petition for Chad's Law. We encourage everybody to go to the link that you see right here on the screen, which will direct you straight to this webpage here for you to go comment as well as sign a petition. We highly recommend everyone go do so. Again, it's right there on your screen in the lower.
Is that current?
That's current. Yes. This is the current
one have signed.
Yes. Yeah. 1,601 has signed thus far. They're trying to get up to 2,500. I say, you know what? Get as many people as you can sign. Let's go far and beyond that 2,500.
Well, it has triggers. So once you get to 2,500, it moves to like 5,000. Once you get to 5,000, it moves to like 10,000, and then it just keeps going. But while the petitions are good to bring awareness to things, we just need the state legislatures to step up, give equality for all people. We need law enforcement to start enforcing the laws.
I'm doing it right now, right in front of y'all.
We need law enforcement to start enforcing these laws, and then maybe parents won't feel such desperation that they have to take things into their own hands. And
so these are all the people that are actually signing it now. Every single one you see shows up. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, go sign this petition. Seriously.
I recognize 2 of those names on there.
Oh, yeah. So go sign this petition. Seriously. Just go to the link. Just type in www.change.org/p/child-visitation-rights. And it'll literally take you straight to this link right here. Matter of fact, I will even... where is it at? Let me go back here. I will even post it in the comments as well, so it's easier for y'all to go to.
Yeah.
There we go. And I will post this too.
Look, it's jumping. It was at 1601. Sorry, 57, 58, 50.
Yep,
Let's go.
So it's going higher. It's gaining traction, ladies and gentlemen. I highly recommend you go sign it. I will post this to the RFIRN's Facebook page. I will post it to my personal page. I'm pretty sure Kenneth will post it to his pages as well. Kenneth, how can people find you in order to see your show on Wednesday?
You can find me and all of the media that we do over at the Father's Rights Movement. We've got shows on Tuesday night with some other media guys, Wednesday night, Thursday night. We've started signing some phenomenal writers and doing some stuff over there. So I'm pretty excited about what's going on over at the Father's Rights Movement. But for my show personally, it's Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
How can anyone get a hold of you in order to be on your show?
Go to tfrm.org and you'll see a media tab up there. You can click on that and it says a media appearance. You can go to the Father's Rights Movement's Facebook page, shoot at the page a message. I answer all the messages anyway. So pretty much that's the easiest ways to find me.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be part of these shows, okay, if you want to be part of these shows, you want to come on and share your stories with us, on the RFIRN or the Father's Rights Movement page, feel free to reach out to us. You don't have to go nowhere to pay in order to have your stories be heard. Come to us. We'll allow you to do it for free. So, don't hesitate to reach out. On the bottom of your screen that you see scrolling there, you got the rfirn.com. That's actually the webpage that I created. We got some videos up there. I'm still trying to go through all the videos from Blog Talk Radio when we were over there when we first started in order to get them on the new webpage. The email is there as well. You can definitely contact me right there at rfirnetwork@gmail.com. And, of course, the Facebook page is right there as well for you to see. So, again, if you want to, share your stories and don't want to have to pay somebody in order to share your story, share your situation, reach out to us. I'm pretty sure, Kenneth Rose is the same way.
Yeah. Just come on to, we are booked out for quite a ways, but, just the sheer volume of things. But we'll fit somebody in.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to make note of this too, because here we are. We're getting ready to get into the month of December. On December 24th through the 26th, both Rosa and I are doing a Christmas marathon. We're doing a joint marathon together right here on RFIRN. It will be shared over to the Fathers' Rights Movement as well. Matter of fact, I'm hoping to be able to get connected with your all's YouTube channel so I can actually air on both channels at the same time.
Yeah.
And so we'll be airing a live 28-hour marathon. It's longer than 24 hours. We got so many people that want to participate in this. We are doing 2 documentaries, Yahya McClain's Casualties of War, Warriors Against the Regime, and we're also doing Ginger Gentiles, a documentary, Erasing Families. Now, that's going to be the last one. That's what's going to close us out at the end of the night. We're going to have a brief discussion after that, but we're going to be closing it out pretty much after that documentary because it's such a powerful documentary, but it also gives hope to those who seek it. So
both phenomenal documentaries, both phenomenal people that made them, both very talented, and come from different ends of the spectrum. So it's pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely. Yahya's deals with the parent side, whereas Ginger Gentiles deals with the child's aspect. So definitely stay tuned for that. It's going to be a great marathon this year. Thanks to Rosa and so many countless other individuals. Some you'll see return from previous years, and some that are new faces. So it's going to be great this year. So definitely tune in for that. As far as our IFRN, we are coming back. We're doing small shows here and there as we get closer to the new year. Our return is the Christmas Marathon. So that is our big return right there. Again, if you want to be part of our shows to share your stories, or you got another topic you want to talk about, it doesn't have to be just family law related. It could be about anything. You want to talk about Biden, you want to talk about Trump, you want to talk about your child's soccer game. It could be anything. It could be anything that's happening. If you need help, we'll try to help you as much as we can. Of course, we're not attorneys. But we do have attorneys who do watch our shows, and, we try to give advice based upon our own personal experiences. And, if we don't have the answer, we'll definitely make sure that we get you with somebody who does have those answers.
I think in this case that we talked about tonight with the poor guy, the victim.
Chad. Oh, Jesus.
We can say that he might have been a little flamboyant enough to, there are people that are still saying that was a justified shooting, but whatever they want to say, Chad is the victim and his children are the victim, and he's not coming back. And that's all because someone didn't have his child at the court-ordered parental time that the child was supposed to be at, and therefore somebody needs to be held accountable.
Absolutely. All right, Kenneth, thank you for joining me tonight. You're always welcome in RFIRN anytime.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm hoping Stephen Ball comes back with me. I haven't heard from him in a while. I know he's dealing with some personal issues, but hopefully he'll be returning as of the new year. I hope he does. He's my second hand man. He's been with me the longest, 4 years. Four out of the 7 years he's been with me. So I'm hoping that he'll be returning. So if he's watching.
Yeah, when you
watching,
get these guys on here that like trying to keep media personalities and shows coming and stuff, it's like herding cats that are all on fire and covered in gas, and it's just it's a circus to get everybody underneath one place and to get it moving in the right direction.
Well, we're getting there, and you got more than just RFIRN and the Fathers' Rights Movements. Matter of fact, you guys have a show Monday through Friday.
No, not yet Monday through Friday, but we've got enough personalities that after the beginning of the year, I think we'll be on 7 days a week.
There we go. Which is good. You know, these shows are really good because it gets information out there. That's the reason. That's the foremost reason of this, because events like the Christmas marathon, you know, rallies that are going on, because I am planning the Nancy Schaefer event here in DC again in March. So there's other events that are going to be going on too. I know Connie and Kimberly Lau, Connie Rigoli and Kimberly Lau, are going to be attending several events from the East Coast all the way over to the West Coast. So all these events are going to be aired and be notified for the public to hear and see, so they can actually attend if they're in anywhere proximity. So, but ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're glad to close it out here. I want to thank everyone who has watched, who has commented. And, you know, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. If you did not agree with what we were talking about, let us know. You know, tell us what we could have done better. You know, how you know, it's just, we're not professionals at this by no means.
Well,
by no means.
I need you to speak for yourself, sir.
Well, we do what we can because you know, there's not many people. A lot of people are camera shy. A lot of people are. Don't like to speak in front of the public either. So I'm not afraid to be behind the camera. I'm not afraid to speak. I can speak for hours. I know you can too, Rosa.
Yeah.
So, but we do this for the reason, because if we don't do it, who will? So, but we got to make sure we're giving out the right information.
Yeah, I want to see some justice for the Reed family and the Reed children.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I would never be okay with a petition for a stepmom to take custody of children from a mom, except in that case. They're literally, those kids are literally having to live in the house with their mother, who's with the boyfriend that killed their father. Like, no kid should have to face that.
Yeah, no, nobody should have to face that. So go sign the petition right there in the lower left-hand corner. Sign that petition. Go to that website, sign it. You know, get your name up there and help us get as many numbers as we can. I just checked it again. We're at 1,664, and it's climbing.
Awesome.
So, but everybody,
thanks again for having me on.
Absolutely. Like I said, you're welcome anytime. And I look forward to being on your show again here in the near future to talk about the marathon as well as the upcoming Nancy Schaefer event. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again, Rosa. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.
I'm sorry. But I don't want to be and that's not my business. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!